Hello and welcome everyone, this is Trinity Storm and you are watching 7th part of What If Naruto Was Revan's Descendant. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Jiraiya was telling Naruto about Tsunade being the best medic in all of the elemental countries, and how she had such huge breasts that you wanted to squeeze them to make sure they were real. Of course, the Namikaze barred him from entering because it was irrelevant to him, as the key to the mission was to return the last remaining Sannin to Konoha and heal his aching student in the hospital, along with countless others. As the two walked into town, Naruto felt a surge of rage within him for this woman, who had been gone for many years, ignoring her duties as his godmother. Of course, Jiraiya tried to explain that Tsunade left without taking him because of the woman's own losses and anger at the memories the village brought to mind. Naruto thought it was nonsense, but he knew the woman had suffered greatly if Jiraiya was correct about his godmother, and that such loss would necessitate time away from the leaf. Force knows, he did it himself after his mother died, but even after a few years, Naruto had the foresight to return to the leaf and restore order. What bothered Naruto more than the fact that Tsunade was his godmother was the fact that she never returned to use her medical skills to help the leaf and save the lives of others. As in Hanabi. Background: Konoha Hospital. Naruto sat in a chair beside his student, Hyuga Hanabi, who was currently resting peacefully while asleep on painkillers due to the injury to her arm, and the Force user wished the girl wasn't in this situation. Given their profession, it was unavoidable, but the Hyuga girl didn't want the harshness of life to destroy the goodness Hanabi had within her in seeing the bright side of things. The Namikaze brushed a strand of hair from Hanabi's gentle face and communicated to the girl via the Force that he would see to it that her injuries were treated as soon as possible by only the best doctors in the elemental countries. Senju Tsunade on her own. Hanabi's outer facial muscles twitched into a weak smile, thanking him for everything and wishing him luck on his mission. Naruto wanted to tell the girl that there was no such thing as luck, but that wouldn't help her in this situation, so he thanked her. As he walked out of the room, Naruto noticed the Sandaime looking at him with sad eyes, and the young Namikaze bore his gaze into the once elderly man. The two had a heated argument in the Hokage's office early on about forcing Tsunade to return to the leaf, with the Sandaime telling Naruto to be gentle with her. Naruto stated that the woman had been traveling throughout the elemental countries when she should have been teaching the next generation of doctors in the leaf. Not to mention that the woman was also his godmother and had decided not to visit him for the entire time. Naruto left the Sandaime to his own devices as he returned home to prepare for his hunt for the slug Sannin and remind the woman of her responsibilities to the leaf. Flashback concludes. The blonde Namikaze went where the Force told him he'd find Tsunade, which was not surprisingly in a bar, drinking sake, and looking like the Wicked Witch from that strange Oz movie he saw with Haku one night. Another dark-haired woman stood next to the busty blonde woman, holding a well-pampered female pig in her arms. How pathetic, Naruto said in hushed tones as Jiraiya turned to look at him and frowned. Naruto, don't say that. She's had a difficult life. Not like you, of course, but it's still bad, and Tsunadeheim needs a bit of finesse to complete this mission. Jiraiya said this as he saw Naruto look at him through his hooded face, his eyes telling the Sannin he was an idiot. If that's your position, then go in there without me and convince her yourself, Naruto said as he noticed Jiraiya staring at him in surprise, and Force pushed the Sannin into the building before the man could protest. Damn brat, Jiraiya thought as he approached Tsunade and greeted her with a loud hello. Jiraiya? What exactly are you doing here? Tsunade said as she saw her old teammate sit across from her and smile his friendliest smile, making the slug princess want to hit him even more than she already did. Tsunadeheim, you know who I am. Busy. If you really want to know, I came here to talk to you about returning to the village, Jiraiya said as he saw Tsunade scowl and look away angrily, as if she was being denied her favorite toy. Jiraiya, I don't want to return. You already know how I feel about the place, Tsunade noticed Jiraiya's smile fade and turn into a small frown. "Tsunade-sama," said the woman beside her, her face telling Jiraiya she was from the leaf and clearly homesick. "Shizune, be quiet." "It's entirely up to me," Tsunade said as she noticed Shizune turn away, and the pig in the woman's arms let out a sad noise. "Tsunade, this is not a request. It's a direct order from Sandaime himself. He needs you back in the leaf right away to help heal the injured from Orochimaru's invasion with Iwa. You wouldn't let people suffer and die because of a few bad memories, would you?" Jiraiya said as he saw Tsunade look back at him with a look that told the Toad Sannin to speak carefully and not irritate the woman any more than he already had. "As if I care what Sensei desires. Besides, we both know the man has been ordering my return for years and has done nothing to punish me for disobeying him. What makes this time special? We both know you'll do almost anything for me if I ask, and right now I believe you understand what I'm asking of you in regards to Sandaime's order to find me," Tsunade said with a smirk, allowing her female assets to influence Jiraiya's decision. And it would have worked if Jiraiya hadn't heard Naruto's voice inside his head through the force telling the Sannin not to think with his other head for a change. "Because I'm not the only one here, Tsunade," Jiraiya said, turning his head to the door, which Tsunade followed to see someone clearly waiting for her to come out. "So? Make your companion understand. If necessary, lie. Assume I'm deep undercover on a top-secret mission for the Leaf right now, and bringing me home would jeopardize it." Tsunade knew Jiraiya had a lot of clout with shinobi and could persuade them to do just about anything. "Tsunade, the person outside, cannot be purchased. Not on this mission, at any rate." Jiraiya noticed the woman scowl at him, then at the person outside, before getting out of her chair to deal with this person herself. "Well, we'll see how unbending he is when it comes to obeying orders after I'm done with him." Tsunade said this as she prepared to beat this guy to a pulp and then tell him to forget ever seeing her. "Oh crap," Jiraiya thought as he followed Tsunade and Shizune, who was holding the pig and looking worried. When they got outside, they saw Tsunade with her arms crossed and staring at the robed figure standing in the middle of the street, staring back at them as if he were made of stone. They knew right away that this was going to be a pissing match first, followed by an all-out slugfest that would turn ugly. They were unsure about who. "So you're the guy Sarutobi-sensei sent with my old teammate to make sure the pervert didn't do anything stupid, aren't you? You don't appear to be much, do you?" Tsunade was trying to provoke what appeared to be a young genin, if not chunin, into a fight so she could knock the guy on his ass. This from a woman who abandons her godson and drowns her sorrows in sake, while gambling away her money. "You look and smell like shit in comparison to me, thanks to all the cheap sake you've been drinking." Naruto knew Tsunade's temper and knew exactly how to hit where it hurt. "You cretin. What do you think you know? I've suffered far too many losses as a result of the leaf." Tsunade braced herself to charge the boy and smash her fist through his face. "What am I to say? I'm very familiar with pain. I'm well aware of pain. And I know your pain pales in comparison to mine. My godmother," Naruto said as he removed his hood and looked at the shocked woman's eyes. "And Naruto," exclaimed Tsunade, who had heard of the boy's fame in the elemental countries but dismissed it as childish rumors. "So you remember my name even after all these years away from the leaf. I'm surprised you can remember anything after drinking so much and killing so many of your brain cells. Hopefully, you still have enough left in your nearly empty head to understand why I won't let you go and tell the Sandaime we couldn't find you," Naruto said as he activated one of his lightsabers, making Tsunade realize that she wasn't going to be able to sweet-talk her way out of this. "I'm not going back to the leaf, and I doubt you can make me," Tsunade said, as she had heard about her godson but didn't believe half of what he'd done or what he could do with his power. "That, my so-called godmother, is where you are gravely mistaken," Naruto said, instantly putting Tsunade in the forced choke and lifting her into the air. Tsunade-sama. Naruto, put her down. Just now. Shizune moved to attack Naruto, but was thrown into a wall by the boy via force push, and then saw him look at the slug Sannin with rage in his eyes. Still believe I can't persuade you to return? All I have to do is knock you out and drag your shell of a former self back to the leaf. Naruto observed Tsunade struggling to find a way out of this situation and turning to Jiraiya for assistance. Naruto, please put her down, Jiraiya said calmly, seeing Tsunade's face as she struggled to breathe, and it was difficult for him to stomach. As you wish, Naruto said, releasing his grip on Tsunade and letting her fall to the ground before walking away, leaving the two old friends alone to talk. Jiraiya.
What?
What just happened? Tsunade began to breathe heavily and looked at her teammate's face to see his sadness. Naruto was being polite. Tsunade, our godson, has suffered as a result of our negligence and is not in a very forgiving mood. Even now, he's barely on good terms with Sarutobi-sensei, and I can see Naruto wanting to burn everything around him that bears the leaf symbol to the ground. We made a mistake by abandoning Tsunade. We chose to leave him to fend for himself for whatever reason, and he is not happy about it. He's only here to assist me in bringing you back so you can heal his student Hyuga Hanabi, who is currently in the hospital with a damaged arm that only you can heal right now, and has little patience for anyone who irritates him. Jiraiya observed Tsunade rising from the ground, Shizune limping towards them, and Taunton concerned about what had happened to her poor owner. Nice? Jiraiya, he was suffocating me to death. Tsunade said as Jiraiya shook his head and pretended not to understand. No longer is the leaf choking the life out of him as he grows older. Something that should not have happened on our watch because we were entrusted with the responsibility of being his godparents. When he was younger, the village tried to kill him on several occasions, and Sensei did little to stop it because of the councils. Naruto killed them all after gaining the strength to defend himself, and after being forced to kill his mother. Jiraiya observed Tsunade and Shizune looking at him as if he were insane. What did he do? Why? Tsunade explained that she knew Kushina was in the hospital when she left and felt guilty for abandoning the woman in such a state, even though she hoped the redhead would recover. Tsunade's death was a mercy killing. Kushina's condition was so bad that she would have been in constant pain for the rest of her life, and Naruto had no choice but to end her life peacefully. I'm not sure how that happened exactly, but I do know that the boy killed the councils because they were involved in the woman's condition, and then he left the village to take S-ranked missions to help clear his head. Who goes on S-ranked missions to help clear their mind like Tsunade? Someone who is enraged does. Naruto is a very angry person who blames everything and everyone around him for his life's suffering. Tsunade, we fall into that category of people who have wronged him. Isn't that why you stayed away from the leaf for so long?
Even after learning about Naruto, his rumored rank of Junin, and his dreaded nickname, you avoided him.
You knew, Tsunade, that if Naruto ever came across you, he would have annihilated every senju in existence and would have never felt guilty about it until the end of his days. It's also the reason you've been drinking more than usual. Jiraiya observed Tsunade drinking heavily despite the Sannin's medical skills. She learned to deal with such sake intakes, and saw the woman look away. Jiraiya is someone I know. I'm all too familiar with it. What exactly do you want me to say? Huh? How do I stay where I've suffered so much? I honestly believed Kushina would awaken and raise Naruto. You did as well. Tsunade observed Jiraiya sighing and rubbing the back of his head through his long hair. Yeah, and I got kicked in more ways than I care to remember for it. Look, I know you don't want to return, but the leaf needs you right now, and while Naruto will most likely deny it, I believe he needs you as well. Jiraiya knew the boy was conflicted with Tsunade, but if Naruto truly despised his godmother, he would have finished choking the life out of her, or used one of those lethal energy swords to rip the woman apart piece by piece. If you truly believe that Jiraiya, then I'll return, but I'd like to speak to my godson again, and on more suitable terms, Tsunade said, as she noticed Jiraiya nod his head and Shizune and Taunton looking concerned. Just try not to lose your cool, Tsunade. You may have that fiery passionate anger that I know and love, but Naruto's anger is. Just let's say I'd rather fight an angry you than him. Jiraiya really meant it, because when Tsunade was angry, she made your body bloody until she was done, and when Naruto was angry, he tore all your limbs right out of their sockets one at a time before using his power to beat you to death with them. I'll try to keep that in mind, you stupid pervert, Tsunade said as she approached Naruto, and Shizune looked at her teacher with concern. Was it really that bad, Jiraiya-sama? Shizune wondered as she noticed Jiraiya nod his head and sigh in sorrow. Yeah. It certainly was, if not more. Anyone who crossed Naruto was dead within an hour, and he assisted Itachi in killing a large portion of the village along with the Uchiha clan. The only reason Naruto isn't charged for either is because he was defending himself against the Uchiha clan while Itachi was annihilating them in the Uchiha district. Jiraiya let out a small chuckle as he noticed Shizune's surprised expression. How do you manage to laugh like this is normal? This is not typical. Shizune became enraged at this point, and only Jiraiya's glare silenced her. Shizune, I know this isn't normal. Nothing about Naruto is normal, but if you were born in hell, I think you'd want to butcher the people around you and not give a rat's ass if they died slowly in the process. Jiraiya tightened his grip on Taunton as he noticed Shizune looking away. Shizune was about to say something, but an explosion in the distance caught her and Jiraiya's attention, and the two dashed off to see what it was. In collaboration with Naruto and Tsunade. Tsunade punched the enemy in the face, the Iwa Anbu mask shattering on impact and sending the Iwa shinobi into several of his friends before they came to a halt after hitting a tree. Not far away, Naruto is using his lightsabers to slice through enemies like butter, and his energy swords are the hot knife that slices through them. When the weapons didn't work, the boys' strange force power would, and in Tsunade's opinion, they were very strange. Tsunade had not intended to start a bridge with Naruto by coming to see him mediating on a hilltop deep in thought and express her regret. However, before she could, an army of Iwa shinobi wearing Anbu masks appeared out of nowhere, calling for the death of the Namikaze responsible for so many deaths during their allied invasion with Orochimaru against Konoha. Perhaps I can prove my forgiveness through this, Tsunade thought as she slammed her foot down, causing a huge chunk of the ground to shoot up, catching the object and throwing it at a group of Iwa shinobi attempting to flank the last Namikaze. Naruto gave her a brief glance before nodding slightly and returning to destroying the small army sent to kill him. Tsunade didn't think it was much, but it was something, and right now the Slug Princess would do almost anything to build a foundation with her godson.
Two Iwa shinobi attacked her unguarded back by leaping into the air with swords drawn, and would have killed Tsunade if Naruto hadn't stopped them in midair before their necks were snapped and their bodies fell to the ground seconds later.
Now we're even, Naruto thought as he sensed what Tsunade had wanted upon reaching him prior to the attack, and was ready to hear the Slug Princess go on about how sorry she was while explaining herself to him about her life in the Leaf and losing those close to her heart. It was nothing new in Naruto's mind, as he had also lost people, most notably his mother, with his father a distant second, but at least Tsunade was loved by the village populace as a whole, rather than hated for harboring a demon inside her, as he was even after the truth was revealed. Tsunade had her vices, which revolved around gambling, drinking, and running away from debt collectors when she lost bets. The same could be said of Jiraiya, though his vices revolved around peeping on women and drinking sake, like Tsunade, while being a lazy bastard at times unless it was truly necessary. By the time Jiraiya and Shizune arrived, the battle was over, with Naruto and Tsunade victorious over Iwa's forces. Jiraiya had a newfound respect for Naruto's fighting prowess at this point, while Shizune's respect was mixed with fear. Iwa, you're a jerk. I warned the Tsuchikage not to put me to the test. I warned him numerous times and held no grudge against him when he allied with Orochimaru. I told myself that the man was desperate to prove his village's strength, but he didn't listen to me and did this to demonstrate how much my warnings meant to him. Tsuchikage is a dead man. Naruto said this as he deactivated his lightsabers, his rage practically radiating off of his body, making those around him uneasy. Please, Naruto, try to relax. You're going to overwork yourself. Tsunade was surprised by how angry the boy could become, and feeling so much was almost too frightening to contemplate. Why? Why should I relax? Please give me one good reason. Naruto tried to control his rage, but it was difficult, and he could feel his demon blood burning inside him. Because your student requires your assistance. Surely, you value her over vengeance, and you want to see young Hanabi grow into a powerful shinobi under your command? Tsunade observed Naruto's fury spike for a second, then slowly fade before looking at her with calm yet tired eyes. You are correct. My student requires my assistance. For the time being, we'll return to the leaf. I'll deal with Iwa when the time comes, not a minute sooner or later, Naruto said as he walked slowly back towards the city in search of a place to rest and regain his strength. Naruto, please wait. I simply wanted to say. Tsunade spoke up, but Naruto's hand raised, and she saw him look back with a tired smile on his face. I know. When I'm fully rested, we'll talk more about constructing the bridge between us. For the time being, let us pretend we are both leaf shinobi in need of rest before our journey home. Naruto continued his journey back into the city, missing Tsunade's smile. How come he easily forgives you but not me? Jiraiya, who had been smashed into the ground by one of Tsunade's fists and had a lump on his head, said this. Because I am a sophisticated lady. As a result, Tsunade began to follow Naruto, with Shizune right behind her. My ass is a sophisticated woman. With the way you hit, I sometimes wonder if you're a secret man. Tsunade was nowhere to be found, which was probably a good thing in his case because the woman's temper if she heard his words would no doubt get him planted in the ground again, this time 6 feet under. Oh, it's probably for the best that Tsunade didn't hear him. After days of travel with the 2 Sannin plus assistant behind him, Naruto walked with purpose towards the gates of the Leaf Village, and the young Namikaze made sure to keep his force senses focused on Tsunade in case she tried to flee. Not that she would run. Naruto had read her mind and knew Tsunade was in no position to run. Sure, the woman was attempting to repay her debt to him, but the woman's track record when it came to repaying debts to other people was shaky at best, and Naruto wasn't about to let the slug Sannin escape her responsibilities. Naruto had made it clear to the Iwa shinobi he'd killed that she would be sorry if she fled. Godmother title be damned. You 3, move it. I want to get back to Konoha before it gets dark. Naruto noticed 3 shinobi behind him leaning against trees, trying to catch their breath from all the non-stop walking. Gaki, would it kill you to slow down and give us a chance to breathe? The spirit is eager, but the flesh is frail, flabby, and exhausted, Jiraiya spoke up when he noticed Naruto pause and glare at him. Where does this kid get this energy? Shizune and Tsunade wondered, having walked almost non-stop for the last few days almost without sleep. My student is currently in a hospital bed, in excruciating pain as a result of her damn cousin, and she is counting on me to bring back the best medic nin in all of the elemental countries to heal her body. She is counting on me not to let her down, and every second spent away from the village without you brings Hanabi one step closer to despair. Now, move your sluggish asses or I'll make you move them. Naruto was enraged because he expected more energy from 3 full-grown adults, 2 of whom were cage level. Unacceptable. Well. When you put it that way, Jiraiya said as he straightened up and followed Naruto, with both women doing the same. Hokage Tower hours later. Tsunade. I'm delighted to see you again. Sandaime smiled at Tsunade, who was now staring at him with her jaw on the floor. I don't think so. I heard the story about you regaining your youth, but I dismissed it as nonsense and Jiraiya pulling my leg. Tsunade said this while Shizune fainted at the sight of the young Sandaime. I have Naruto to thank for that, the Sandaime said, though Tsunade could tell by his expression when mentioning the Namikaze that there was a significant schism between the two. Yeah. According to Jiraiya, the kid is dissatisfied with the people in the leaf and has more reason to leave than I do. If I understand correctly, something you had a hand in because of his abuse, said Tsunade, seeing the Sandaime scowl slightly at that. Tsunade, I was a frail old man at the time. In that regard, I've evolved. Tsunade shakes her head, so says the third Hokage. Physically, perhaps. But we both know that you're still hesitant to do things you would have done decades ago because you have the mentality of an old man. Tsunade saw Sandaime's frown and saw no reason to argue with her because she was clearly correct. Perhaps, but I can still be Hokage until Naruto takes over, and you two of my former students will assist him by serving as his advisors. My last two were killed by Naruto some time ago, and you two will remain in Konoha. It's past time you took on new responsibilities in addition to your old ones. When the two Sannin looked at him in protest, the Sandaime spoke up. Wow, old man. I'm not a pusher of papers. Tsunade, for that matter, isn't either. I have a spy network to maintain, said Jiraiya, seeing the Sandaime giving him a, "Are you serious?" Look. You can't give it to Naruto? Given that he has his own from his time as a hunter nin doing S-ranked missions, his spy network rivals yours, and the only logical conclusion now is to hand it over to him. Besides, it will give you both a chance to settle down, and if you play your cards right, you might be able to persuade Naruto to restore your youth as well, allowing you two to finally settle down together. Tsunade's face turned red, and Jiraiya was thinking of things that would make the woman next to him want to crack his skull. Again, said the Sandaime. As if I'd settle down with this pervert, Tsunade said, despite the fact that being young again, genjutsu aside, was very appealing. Regardless, you two are staying here, in Konoha, under advisory positions, and helping run things in Konoha rather than letting your vices get the best of you, the Sandaime said, seeing the two sigh. So, how about the Akatsuki? Or Iwa? They came up to us after we had met. Naruto appeared irritated and ready to wage a one-man war against the Tsuchikage. Jiraiya observed Naruto leaning against the window, the sunlight streaming through it giving him a shadowy appearance that would make some women swoon. Those two challenges can wait. My hospitalized student cannot. Naruto stated firmly that he was not going to let this meeting drag on any longer and leave his student in pain. Naruto, we get it. Stop shoving Gaki. Damn. We'll talk about it later, old man. You can count on it. Tsunade said as she drove Shizune to the hospital to deal with the chaos. What does your spy say about the Akatsuki organization's movements, Jiraiya? Asked the Sandaime, knowing the man had a spy in their ranks to provide them with information. Not a lot. They are active, but only slightly, and can only name a few key players, though who those people are among the Akatsuki's elite group is still debatable, Jiraiya said as he saw Sandaime nod and look at Naruto, who seemed unfazed by the news. Give me their names, Jiraiya, and I'll track them down at a later date. The Akatsuki do not frighten me. To be honest, they should be afraid of me. Naruto left before they could speak to him to check on his Hyuga student at the hospital. That kid has a lot of rage in him. I thought he got rid of everything when he left the village? Jiraiya observed Sandaime sigh and shake his head. With the exception of Hyuga Hanabi, Kakashi and the rest of Team 7 have been agitating Naruto. They constantly remind him of the abuse he endured and my own failure to properly manage the village after I was re-elected Hokage. Jiraiya, I'm at a loss for what to do, Sandame said as he saw his student nod in agreement. Neither do I. Minato was in the same boat. He was filled with rage after Obito died, and when he unleashed it on Iwa. It wasn't enough, Jiraiya was at a loss for what to do about Naruto. Only Kushina could calm him down after it was over. Naruto has both of his parents in him, but I'm seeing more of Minato the Kushina right now, and that's what scares me. Seeing the Sannin nod, the Sandame knew that was to be expected after learning the truth. Those girls living with him are the only real reason he stays in the Leaf, doesn't kill almost everyone in it, and prevents him from going on a total psychotic rampage that could level other places as well, Jiraiya stated simply. How did it come to this? Asked the Sandame, who only wanted what was best for everyone, even if it came at a high price. Konoha Hospital several hours later. You're looking better, Naruto observed as Hanabi smiled at him from her drug-induced stupor after emerging from surgery in Tsunade's capable hands. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Hanabi said, smiling at him as he moved some hair around her eyes. Your sensei is me. I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't do everything I could to assist you, Naruto scowled as he became aware of someone in the room. What's the matter, Naruto-sensei? Hanabi knew something was up when she saw Naruto's serious face, even in her current mind-numbing state, and knew to call him sensei. Hanabi-chan, you have nothing to be concerned about. For the time being, just sleep. You must rest in order to heal quickly and return to training. Naruto returned to his smiling face, though it didn't match his eyes. I will, Naruto-sensei, Hanabi said before falling asleep with a gentle nudging from Naruto using the force. Naruto kissed her forehead one last time before turning to face Hitaki Kakashi, who was leaning against the wall with his book in hand. You. Me. The hospital's roof. Now. Naruto yelled angrily before the two of them arrived moments later. Did you have something on your mind that you didn't want to discuss with me while our student was sleeping? Said Kakashi calmly, but he was feeling waves of anger aimed at him right now, and it was clear the boy had a lot to say. Yes. First and foremost, Hanabi is not your student because you have not trained her in anything and spend all of your time with the last Uchiha. Second, I'm going to request that Hanabi become my full-time student and that she be removed from Team 7 so she can grow with a more appropriate group. Naruto noticed Kakashi's scowl at him now. That will cause Team 7 to be shelved until a new member can replace her, Kakashi explained, knowing how upset Sasuke and, to a lesser extent, Sakura would be. Take care of it. Besides, we're both aware that they're pathetic excuses for genin and a waste of time, Naruto observed Kakashi disagreeing with him once more. You make it sound like they should go back to the academy, Kakashi said, seeing Naruto now fully facing him. No. That is not what I mean to you, Kakashi. I'm telling you, those two bakas are egotistical and have no loyalty to anyone but themselves. Both want power in order to exact vengeance on those who have wronged them. Specifically, me. Or did you forget? Naruto noticed Kakashi look away for a second, but he knew the Junin wouldn't forget, so he chose to ignore it. They'll get over it, Kakashi said, as if it were a simple problem to solve. Like what they did to me. That's what the Sandame said to me about Asta, and we all know how that turned out. Dead council members, Uchiha clan members, and general bigots born in the Leaf. Do not tell me something stupid and make it sound like the most obvious thing in the world. It isn't. Naruto was finding it increasingly difficult to calm down as his demon blood rose again. That's different, said Kakashi, but was forced. Naruto pushed him against the nearest wall and held him there. Don't even think about saying they're different. We both know that those two, like everyone else, have their heads so far up their asses that they will never let it go, Naruto observed Kakashi struggling to break free. What do you recommend I do then, Naruto? Struggled Kakashi. Return them to the academy. If they annoy you, tell them to shut up and follow orders for once. Kami recognizes that it would be a step in the right direction. Naruto said this before releasing him and leaving before the Junin could say anything else. Sometime later, Konoha streets. Naruto found his walks through the repairing village to be mostly peaceful, as he ignored the looks and whispers about him becoming too powerful for the Sandaime to control. They yearned for the days when he was frail and helpless, pleading with them not to injure his body. Whether the boy was a Namikaze or not, he deserved to suffer for the loss of all their loved ones, past and present. Really, it's pathetic. Walking through the village, Naruto came to a sudden halt when he sensed a shift in the force, which told him that someone close to his heart was in danger. Naruto's eyes widened and then narrowed as he focused on the source of the disturbance. Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura were with Hyuga Hanabi at training ground number 6. And she was in pain. A few feet away, a street lamp crumpled in on itself before collapsing behind him. This has gone on long enough, thought Naruto as he quickly vanished from sight of others, allowing them to focus on the downed structure. When Naruto arrived, he saw Uchiha Sasuke smirking down at Hyuga Hanabi, recently being released from the hospital, and had been wanting to do some light training. Haruno Sakura, on the other hand, had the girl on her knees with her arms behind her back to prevent any form of gentle fist, and had a large fresh bruise on her face. Don't look at me that way. We're making you pay for our loss because of your own so-called sensei. Because of him, we were unable to advance to the Chunin exams, we were unable to use our full potential in Wave, and our team is being disbanded. We're going to take it out on his prized pet of a student because I can't take it out on the loser, and there's nothing a weak little girl like you can do about it. Before attempting to backhand the girl's face, Sasuke found his arm unable to complete the strike halfway through, and felt killer intent behind his form reaching surreal levels. Uchiha, you have a lot of guts. You complain about what you can't have first, and then you complain about not taking part in the Chunin exams on my recommendation to the Hokage. You now seek to punish one of your teammates solely for the purpose of punishing me, attempting to make me suffer emotionally while she suffers physically. It's strange how your thinking has been flawed up until now. Naruto said this before using the force to separate the Uchiha from Hanabi and then force choking Sakura until she let go of the young Hyuga girl. How so? Snarled Sasuke. Simple. For one thing, you are not prepared to become a Chunin, as that rank requires a responsible individual who leads his team on important missions with a level head and does not make rash decisions that lead to the team's death. You want to charge headfirst into every battle, damn the consequences, damn the mission, and damn your team for following you. These are not the characteristics of a true leader. They are the actions of a self-centered fool. When Naruto saw Sasuke pull out a kunai and charge him, he was pushed into a tree. Damn you! Exclaimed Sakura as she prepared to perform a devastating earth jutsu on Hanabi, who was now limping over to Naruto's side. She would have done an earth jutsu if Naruto hadn't used the force to throw Sasuke's kunai at Sakura, piercing both her hands, which were now stuck together due to the small pointy weapon. Second, you have tried to beat my student senseless for your inability to move past your arrogant actions that caused you not to advance in the first place. However, it is clear that you failed, as Hanabi did not bow down to you, instead staring into your eyes with a fiery determination that irritates you even now. Naruto activated his Sharingan and went through hand signs after seeing the Uchiha get off the ground. Shut up. You have no idea. My name is Uchiha. A shinobi of the highest caliber. My clan is the strongest in Konoha, and I will not be defeated by a natural disaster. Sasuke said this before firing a large fireball at Naruto, who easily redirected it away from himself and quickly ignited his lightsabers while moving in front of Hanabi. Don't force me to destroy you, Uchiha. You're not going to like how I do it. Sasuke ignored Naruto and went to try again, this time creating the Chidori of all things before charging at the Namikaze. Die! Exclaimed Sasuke as he moved to end Naruto's life in order to gain the power he desired. You first, Naruto said before disappearing and reappearing behind Sasuke. The Uchiha barely screamed before his body fell to pieces. The limbs that fell were burning from the contact of the lightsabers with his body, and the last thing Sasuke saw with his eyes was Naruto standing over his body with cold, uncaring eyes. A monster in the relic of the United States. Fitting end for someone like him, Naruto said as he turned around to deactivate his lightsabers to see Hanabi trying not to be alarmed by the sight of death all around her, and the Namikaze kicked himself for exposing her to it so soon after the failed invasion. I'll kill you, yelled Sakura as she managed to free her hands and use what little control she had in her fingers to use that same kunai before charging at Naruto with the intention of killing. Close your eyes, Hanabi, and don't look at what I'm about to do with your Byakugan, Naruto said firmly, and Hanabi obeyed him without question. Without further ado, Naruto used Force Lightning on Sakura, and the power behind it was so strong that it quickly turned the girl's body to ash. Is it finished, Naruto-sensei? Hanabi explained that she didn't need her eyes open to feel his power used to kill Sakura, but she felt compelled to obey her sensei's command. Hanabi-chan, you are correct. You may now open your eyes. Seeing Hanabi open her eyes, Naruto made sure she didn't see what was behind him. I had no choice but to kill them. To safeguard you first and myself second, Naruto hugged Hanabi after seeing him nod in understanding. I apologize. When they came here, they baited me into fighting them. They made fun of you. They called you a monster, a freak, and a lousy sensei. Hanabi felt safe in his arms as he felt the firm yet gentle touch of his hand. Hanabi-chan, don't worry. You were defending my honor as I defended yours when I arrived. I'm sorry as well. I didn't want to expose myself to death so quickly. When I was younger, I didn't have much of a choice and was exposed to death to the point where I nearly lost my mind. You are still a child who deserves to be happy, healthy, and enjoy the things that children are supposed to enjoy. Do not try to become a chunin or higher as quickly as I did. Have a good time with those around you. Okay? Naruto noticed Hanabi looking up at him and crying into his stomach while he was talking. I simply want to demonstrate to you that I am capable of exceeding your expectations. I don't want to let you down. Hanabi had always been taught to be the best, or else she would be forced to serve those who were the best. You will not. Hanabi-chan, believe me. You will never let me down. Let's go report this to the Hokage and get this resolved. Before they went to the Hokage's office, Naruto said. Office of the Hokage. Naruto, you're a jerk. Do you really need to complicate things for me? Declared the third Hokage was not pleased with what he heard and how two members of Team 7 attempted to assault the third. I don't make things difficult for you. Only those who despise my guts do that. Naruto sighed as he saw Sandaime sigh, knowing he was correct. That is correct. So the two were dead, and you killed them in self-defense, correct? Seeing Naruto nod and Hanabi agree, the third Hokage spoke up. Correct, Naruto said, seeing the Sandaime deal with some papers in front of him. I'm going to rule it that way based on the bruise on Hanabi's face and the fact that neither of you is lying to me. You're both fired. The Sandaime knew Kakashi would be devastated by the news. How about my request that Hanabi be trained without interference? Naruto observed the Sandaime pause for a moment in thought. Your request has been approved, but anything you teach her must go through Hiashi, and be cautious when informing him due to the Hyuga elders' desire to uphold clan traditions, said the Sandaime, aware that the group could cause problems for him and Naruto. Don't be concerned. I won't rush her into anything I know she's not capable of handling. She will walk until she is able to run, not before, said Naruto, leaving with the girl beside him following his stride. I'm getting too old for this shit. Again. sighed the Sandaime, a habit acquired from interacting with Naruto, before contacting his secretary to summon Kakashi to deliver the tragic news. Though not as tragic in Sandaime's opinion.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.